Welcome, everyone, to Las Cruces, New Mexico. Time for Hobbs Eagle basketball. Live on the radio at Cool 95.7, on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Ty Friend here with you tonight as the Hobbs Eagles take on the Mayfield Trojans. Of course, last night the Eagles with a big win, 1-point victory over Oregon Mountain, 63-62. Kind of a comeback game for the Eagles as well. They had deficits at 5, and then into the fourth quarter, even a 7-point deficit, able to whittle it down and then take leads. But then toward the end there, 3-point shots kept them in the ball game, especially the hot shooting of Lyric Soria, where he dumped in 21 points and ended up with a total of 6 3-pointers in the ball game. Beatty, the other guy, Braddock Beatty, had 3 trays of his own, so 9 combined, 27 points from the outside perimeter. Definitely helped out the cause to get that win. No slouches on the 3-point line, though, for Oregon Mountain as well. They had 8 trays to their name, too, so lots of big-time shooting coming down to the wire there for the Hobbs Eagles. Lots of scores. We mentioned Lyric Soria. There was kind of a question mark. The official book had him down for a 4th 3-pointer in the fourth quarter. There was kind of a discrepancy on that. They had a lot of discussion after the game with the scorebook, but they went ahead and gave him a 4th 3-pointer, which made it 6 for the contest. I had him down for 18 last night, but there's been some debate going on there. Even talking to his dad about that. But what the scorebook says is what the scorebook is going to be, and that was going to give him his 6th 3-pointer of the night. So congrats to Lyric Soria. He also was one of the 4 players for the Hobbs Eagles that had 6 rebounds apiece. So lots of guys not just shooting the ball, but also going to the glass, which is very good for a W when it all comes down to the end. Braddock Beatty finished with 16. We mentioned his 3 trays in the ball game. He had 6 rebounds as well. So those 2 guys combined for 37. Malachi David, 3rd in scoring with 12. Definitely had a size advantage inside the paint. They went down to him low in the post quite a few times early in that game. And he started to put those things down late in the contest, where he had 8 points in the fourth quarter to get to his 12. He also had 6 rebounds for the Eagles. Those were the 3 guys in double digits. Again, 21 for Soria, 16 for Beatty, and 12 for Malachi David. Other contributors, Adarius Proby, who started last night. He had 6 points and 2 rebounds. Josiah Clay did not start, but he did come in the first quarter, hit 3 points with a bucket and a free throw, and also 6 rebounds. So again, lots of rebounding action for the Eagles. That got them 1 rebound better than Oregon Mountain, 29-28. So kind of a battle of the boards going on between the 2 teams in that ball game. Now the big discrepancy, though, in this game that the Eagles did win by 1 point was the turnover situation. Hobbs having some issues on the perimeter, making passes on the right and left of the circle, kind of floating balls up in the air. No ball fakes with it, you know. Maybe fake high, go low. We weren't seeing a lot of that, and a lot of deflections of passes. A few of those turned into steals going the other way for Oregon Mountain. Tonight, they got to take care of the basketball from quarter 1 all the way to quarter 4, because they're taking on the Trojans, Mayfield, who is 6-0 at this current time. A very good ball club with lots of seniors returning on the team. Eagles, in terms of their turnovers, again, was 16. Oregon Mountain only had 6, so they had 10 more than the losing team, which is, I guess, good fortune there once everything is into the books as a W. Hobbs Eagle free throw shooting, 8 of 14 for 57%. A lot less free throw attempts than what Oregon Mountain had. In fact, they had 35, or 28 free throws and made 14 of them for 50% in that ball game. And the one guy that was on the line, it seemed like the whole night, was Nathaniel Pete. Although all his points coming off the free throw stripe, he was 8 of 17. His shots weren't dropping inside the paint, luckily for the Eagles, because he did get a lot of fouls called against the Hobbs squad, but just couldn't get the shots to drop. But his free throws did add on to the point production for Oregon Mountain. That one kid, though, McDaniel, he lit up the Eagles on 3-point shots. He had 4 of them, 21-point total for Emmett McDaniel. He was their leading scorer. Hobbs actually down in the first quarter, 14-10. They got 12 in the second, or excuse me, it was 14-10 Oregon Mountain. Hobbs got 17 in the second quarter, just 12 for Oregon Mountain. So Hobbs took the lead at the half, 27-26. Eagles and Oregon Mountain had some problems scoring a little bit early in that third quarter, but Oregon Mountain finally got 16 in the third, and the Eagles only got 12. They were down 3 at the end of the third, 42-39, and then Hobbs really put it on to the 24 points scored in that compared to 20 for Oregon Mountain in the finale for the 1-point victory. And, of course, Oregon Mountain had a layup attempt coming down the lane for the last-second shot, and it was McDaniel just barely missed off the front of the iron for the sealing the victory for the Hobbs Eagles. So Hobbs, of course, with that win, improves their record to 7-1. Again, this team they're playing tonight, Mayfield, sitting at 6-0. Mayfield Trojans have lots of big wins. Del Valle up in Albuquerque won their first game 66-43 by 23 in that one. Picked off Sandia back on December 5th, 79-73. Now, Eagles had a better job of beating Sandia at Tasker Arena. They won earlier, about a week or so earlier than Mayfield did, 68-57. So they won by 11, where Mayfield just beat Sandia by 6. So that was one good thing to look at there. In terms of the defense, against Sandia, Hobbs caused 17 turnovers against the Matadors, but Mayfield's defense only got 9 turnovers. So Hobbs doing a better job of playing some tough D against that Sandia team than what Mayfield did. Some of the same guys scored lots of points, though, for that Sandia team against Mayfield as they did against Hobbs. Smith had 20 against the Eagles. He had 18 against Mayfield. Brown had 19 against the Eagles and 13 against Sandia, or against Mayfield. The one guy the Eagles shut down that Mayfield could not shut down was Hobbs. Hobbs only gave him 3 for Sandia. Mayfield let him light him up for 25. So that's the big difference between those two. But again, 5 more points plus for the Eagles against Sandia than what Mayfield had back on December 5th. Other wins for the Trojans, they beat Rio Grande by 5. Academy they beat by 5 as well, so some close games towards the end of their schedule so far. Clovis they won by 5, and then just a few nights ago on December 13th they beat Centennial 57-55. Hobbs beat Centennial by 3 points, 1 point more than Mayfield did. So again, that's an arch rival game here in Las Cruces, but very similar point productions with these two teams against some of their common opponents, Sandia and Centennial. Now, last year, Hobbs defeated Mayfield down at Tasker Arena, just thrashed them by 31, 79-48. Some returners from the team from last year. Hector Gallegos, he was a sophomore. He dumped in 9 points and 9 steals, but he did have 6 turnovers in that ball game. Hopefully, Eagles could take advantage of that. A couple other guys that played last year. Gabriel Herrera was a junior. He's a senior this year with 1 point. But their big scorer was Christian Carubia. He had 13 points and 3 trays against the Hobbs Eagles there at Tasker Arena. And then there was another kid, Fernando Corona had 8 points with 2 trays himself. So lots of 3-point shots were being dropped. In fact, Mayfield tanked in 10 3-pointers out of 32 attempts. 32 attempts for Trey, 31% shooting from the outside. So big-time 3-point shooters on the team. Several of those guys are back this year. Hobbs better be ready for that. Scorers that came back from last year's team for the Eagles, Josiah Clay, he had 13 in that game, including a 3-pointer. He had the same amount of points as Pena and Turbiatis, the 2 seniors that graduated. They had 13 as well. Lyric Soria had a good night, too, at Tasker against Mayfield last year. 11 points with 3 trays. Definitely some good shooting stroke going on. Braddock Beatty finished with 8 points in the game, and Javen Hernandez dumped in a bucket for 2. So 4 returners back from that team last year. For the Hobbs Eagles, they had 6 trays, which was 4 less than Mayfield. Hobbs didn't shoot very well at the free throw line in that game with 11 of 22 for 50%. But the turnovers definitely working well for the Eagles. They only had 12, but caused Mayfield to cough the ball up 22 times in that game. Plus, they only shot 29% from the field at Tasker Arena. Therefore, the Eagles winning by 31, once again, 79-48. But it is a different season, and right now, Hobbs would like to be the first team to knock off this Mayfield Trojan squad, just like they did to San Angelo Central last week. They're at Tasker Arena. Mayfield comes in averaging 62 points a game and giving up 54. Hobbs is averaging 1 bucket less than Mayfield with 60 points, but they're only giving up 53 points to the opponents, which is 1 point less than Mayfield. So pretty even numbers. Should be an exciting game here. We are playing at Mayfield's gym, a little bit of an older facility now, but of course Centennial down the street and Las Cruces High, one of the best teams in basketball, usually year after year. If you look at the Max Preps poll currently, La Cueva sits at the top 6-0, Las Cruces High at 7-0 at second. Hobbs checks in with their 7-1 record at third. And then you go down to number 5. That's Mayfield, undefeated at 6-0. And so that should give you kind of a little bit of a taste of what you can expect in this game. We're getting ready for the national anthem and introductions here in Las Cruces. Hobbs versus Mayfield coming up. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Basketball on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Stay with us.
You're clear.
The national anthem is complete here in Las Cruces. Here at Mayfield High School. Ty Friend here with you. Evie Stuber back at the station as your Hobbs Eagles take on the Mayfield Trojans. Looking at your starting lineup, first of all, for the Mayfield Trojans, they will have Corey Patterson, also Christian Cavarubia, Fernando Corona, Gabriel Herrera, and Braden Rodriguez. Their first game of the season that they defeated Del Valle by 23, 66-43. They had a big streak shooter in that game. That was Covarubia. He had 4 trays in the contest, finished with 18. He was the leading scorer. And the Corona kid had 12 points on 2 trays. So those guys can shoot it from the outside. We mentioned last year they converted 10 3-pointers at Tasker Arena in that big loss, though, to the Hobbs Eagles. On the Hobbs Eagles coin today, we've got Braddock Beatty, the starter, Malachi David, Lyric Soria, Josiah Clay, and Adarius Proby. Last year, Mayfield went 12-16, under 500, but did not make the playoffs. They ended up 4th in district with a 4-6 record there behind Oregon Mountain, Las Cruces, and Centennial. So they're trying to get themselves back in playoff form, and a good start to the season, as we mentioned, a 6-0 record. Lots of those teams out of Albuquerque, too, talking about Del Valle, Sandia, Rio Grande, Academy. Those are the 4 first games of the season. And then they had Clovis, of course, from our district, and Centennial, their next-door neighbor here in Las Cruces. Getting ready for the starting lineups, as at least for Mayfield. They got a little theme song playing here. This is the last game before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament, which will be coming up after Christmas, the 29th. So Christmas is Thursday, of course, then the weekend, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 29th through 31st. It'll be the Hobbs Eagles hosting the big Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Of course, the girls will be there as well. They've got one more game before the tournament. They will be on the road at Moriarty, and that will be on the 23rd. So that'll be Tuesday night next week. You can catch that action right here on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. As usual, get all those games for you for free. Eagles still waiting to play some ball here. Long extended introductions here for the Mayfield Trojans. They are wearing the white uniforms coming out of the court right now, being introduced. Hobbs Eagles on their black uniforms and gold trim. Great shooting last night, as we mentioned. 9 trays converted. Officially in the books it was 9, and big time shooting for Lyric Soria with 6 of those, 3 for Braddock Beatty. So hopefully that'll continue to work here on this court just across town. We'll take a final 30-second break as the Hobbs Eagles get ready to take on the Mayfield Trojans live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Stay with us. Welcome back to Las Cruces. Your Hobbs Eagles taking on the Mayfield Trojans as we're ready for some hoops. Eagles trying to get the first loss of the season against the Trojans, who come in at 6-0. Correction on the girls game, by the way. They're at Los Lunas, close enough to Moriarty. Thanks, Ron Gunner, for keeping me updated on that. Big size advantage there at the tip. It'll be Malachi David going to go up against Fernando Corona. Should be an easy tip. Said that last night, and Oregon Mountain kid got it pretty good. Tip into the front court. It's going to be to Clay. Slings it down quickly. Layup high off the glass, though, and it's pulled down off the ricochet by Beatty, the man who shot the layup. Good hustle to get the ball back, and he'll dribble to the timeline. Gives it off to the right wing to Soria. Trying to set up the play, trying to get some movement on the wings now. Sliding left to right on top of that Trojan logo, middle of the court. Unloads over to Soria. Correction, make that Clay on the right wing. Cross it through his legs. Comes down the paint. Jump stop, free throw line, tries to bounce it low, and it's going to get picked away. It was going to be intended for Malachi David on the first turnover of the game for the Eagles. Quickly in the front court, the Trojans. Pass to the left corner, holding on to the ball, and then kicking it back out is Corona. Back to the timeline to Patterson. Unloads to the right wing to Herrera. Good defense by Soria, sliding with him. Puts it up top to Rodriguez. Kick it down to the right corner. 3 on the way for Corona off the front of the iron. No good. And the rebound quickly for Adarius Proby for the Eagles. And we get it up court, up the near sideline, right in front of the Mayfield bench. I think the Trojans got a piece of that one. Getting a hand on it was Patterson. So it will be Hobbs basketball. Inbound right in front of the bench here. Best angle I could get you with our camera hip where we're at this point. Inbound to the timeline. Soria have it. Trying to get his defender to come out, and does get Covarrubia to step out in front of that Trojan logo. Stop and go to the near side, left. One hands it over to Clay on the right wing. Clay's going to hold it, stop and go himself on the right circle. Trying to get Malachi David posted up. Instead, returns up top to Proby. Alley-oop backdoor. David comes down with it, goes up, misses the shot, though. Didn't get the touch he wanted. The rebound by Corona. And he's going to dribble it himself up into the front court against the Eagles. Goes to the rack with a high-arching layup. On the left of the rim, no good. David will rip it down, his first board, as he outlets to Beatty on the far right sideline. Beatty returns to Soria near the Trojan again to set up the offense as he comes across the stripe with the dribble. Waiting for a double screen, instead throws to Proby on the right wing. Probably gives it up top to David, who can stroke the tray when he wants to. He'll put the NBA three up, as I said, it off the front of the rim. Rebound right baseline by Clay. Goes back up, scoop shot on the right side and scores. So Clay has his first bucket as he started tonight. Going to the other end for the layup, but getting rejected from behind was Patterson, right side of the iron. And there was a shot swatted, but the body coming down on top of him. They're going to get David on the foul there. Malachi David. Already going to get some subs in for Mayfield. They have to wait for that first free throw, though, and that will put on the line Corey Patterson. They have 8 seniors on the squad and 5 juniors, one more senior than the Eagles, so lots of guys returning from last year's team, although they were 12-16. First shot's up and good for Patterson. First point of the game, at least for the Trojans. Substitutions coming on. Homer Walsh, he's one of their point producers off the bench. And also onto the court is I.T. Williams, one of their seniors. Second shot coming for Patterson is good. He got both of them. It's 2-2 here with 6 minutes left in the first. Soria will take the dribble across the timeline. He has a new defender on him now. Pass up top to David. High post. He's going to pivot. Give it off to Proby on the right wing. Fakes a three. Drives the lane. High arching layup with a little scoop at the last second. They called the foul charge. Proby ran over his defender that time and squashed Patterson. He was the guy that got fouled at the other end. So Proby will pick up his first personal and first team foul. That will be a turnover as well, number 2 for the Eagles. Tied up 2-2 here at Mayfield High School. Inbounding on the left baseline. Ball comes into the timeline, brought across by the guard Patterson. Stop and go, dribbles behind his back on the right wing against Soria. Comes back to the time stripe. Boy, tight call. They call a hand check. Coach Ross out of the court, boy. Even coming close to that finger to the hip, it's going to get you. They call that on Soria. That's his first, second team foul. The inbound to the backcourt to Patterson as he'll take on Soria coming across the timeline. On the dribble to the right wing. Bounces it, almost looked like he was trying to pass. Spin move, throws it down to the right corner. Open for a tray is Corona. In and out, no good. David will rip it down for the Eagles for his second rebound. Quickly up the court to Clay. Tries to come down the paint, gets run into by the defender. And he got tangled up, looked like a spiderweb defender that time. And they get the foul on Patterson, give him a taste of his own medicine. That's his first personal, first team foul on the Trojans. They didn't call that a shooting foul. Hobbs will get on the left baseline. Another sub coming in for Coach Trujillo. Checking on the court is Covarrubia, who was the starter. Short time for Herrera to take a seat. Inbounding is Soria, left base. Gets into Beatty, left corner for three. Hits the side of the rim, no good. David with the rebound, left block. Goes back up with 2 hands off the glass and scores. Using his height out there. 4-2 Eagles. Doubling up on Mayfield early. Quickly in the front court, Patterson going through his legs. Bounce pass right block, fade away for Covarrubia, and snaps the net with the jumper himself from that right block. We're tied at 4. Track meet just like last night. In the front court is Clay. Backs out, goes through his legs, sends it down to the left wing to Lowe. Returns the Soria on the near sideline. He dribbles back to the time stripe. Dribbles off to the near side to Lowe with the handoff. Up top to Clay. Clay comes down the paint. Leans and shoots in the left block off the front of the rim, no good. And we got a rebounding foul. Referee's really calling this a Velcro type foul call here. They call the foul against Clay. That'll be his first, third team foul. 3-0, 3-1 count at this part. No, make it 4-1. Definitely an advantage for Mayfield. 1 away from the double bonus, and we're just into this game with 4:44 remaining in the first. Inbounding on the left baseline, Corona gets it on the near side to Covarrubia, back to Corona. Picking up a double team from Beatty and Soria, or make that Proby, throws it across the timeline. Driving paint with the high arching layup and scoring off the left side of the rim was Walsh. Homer Walsh's first bucket coming off the bench. And they got their lead now, 6-4 Mayfield with 4:27 left here in the first quarter. Soria in the front court, trying to get a play call. Shuffles it off up top to Malachi David. Bounce it to Proby on the right wing. Fakes a three, keeps on the floor. One dribble and stop. Kick it to Soria left wing. He wants to shoot a three off the side of the iron. Eagles can't get him to drop. Trying to chase it here on the near sideline, but not getting a grasp of it for Mayfield was Williams. Knocks it right to his Mayfield bench. Hobbs basketball. 6-4, 2-point Trojan lead here in the first. More subs coming in for the Trojans. Right back who just left a minute ago is Herrera. Pass comes into Low on the inbound. He'll bring it back to the time stripe to set up the O. Runs over to this right side with the dribble, handoff to Beatty. Back to Soria at the half-court line, and coming up to get it at the top of the circle is Low. Stop and go, handoff to Beatty on the left wing. Gets a screen from David, drives the right side of the lane. Shot is high in the air from the right block and puts it through. Beatty's first bucket of the ball game, and we're tied at 6. Going the other way. Pass down the left side of the lane, going up high with a double pump action with one hand. Shot put style as Walsh come from left to right of the lane and scores it over the rim. They call the foul on top of that. So Walsh will have 5 points. Foul against Lowe, his first, and the 15th foul. Double bonus already. The 5-1 foul count in favor of Mayfield. Walsh's free throw is a swish. He's got 6 to lead both teams. 9-6, the biggest lead of the contest for Mayfield. 3:42 remaining here in the first. Coming across the timeline is Soria. Bounce pass to Beatty on the left wing. He'll drive to the left side of the lane with a scoop shot and scores. Beatty started taking the rack hard. He's got 4 points. 3:28 left first quarter, 9-8. Still a 1-point Mayfield lead. Pass into the front court, far left sideline to Corona. Thought about passing it back to the time stripe, but keeps the ball himself. Sliding left to right with the dribble. Unloads to Williams, top of the circle, guarded by Soria. Swing over to the right side to Herrera. Herrera returns back deep to Walsh, dribbling through his legs against Beatty. Kick it left wing to Corona. Cross court right over to Walsh, drives the lane, tries a scoop push shot over the right side of the rim, missed it, got his own rebound, sends it back up top, and a 3 on the way, and nailed at the top of the circle for Corona. That's the second tray of the game for the Trojans. Now lead 12-8. Their biggest lead is 4 here in the first. Clock to 2:48 left. In the front court, Soria stop and go through his legs. On the right wing, zings a pass to David on the right block. He spins in the paint, right, left, fadeaway jumper. Comes off the front of the rim, trying to save it for the Eagles was low. He got pushed to the floor, flat on his stomach. They called the rebounding foul. Never got a chance to actually rebound it. He was flattened first. They called the foul on Williams, his first. Only the second team foul on the Trojans. Hobbs basketball on that right baseline as they trail by 4. Their biggest deficit. Inbound into David. He goes up strong with the left hand over the rim and scores. David's got 4 points. Trojans not going to waste any time. 12-10 now. Hobbs down by 2. Across the timeline with the dribble comes Patterson. Back it into Soria to the left side circle. Give it off to Covarrubias. He lost the ball for a minute. Proby playing some tough D. Picks it back up. Flicks it up top to Patterson. Spins at the free throw line. Fadeaway jumper with a foot kicked up in the air and scores. He got a push off on that one. No call. He's got 4 points, does Patterson. 14-10. 2:08 left first quarter. Hobbs down by a double bucket. Into the front court comes Soria. One hands over to David on the right wing. David bounces it up top to Proby. Proby will hold it for a second. Slings it over to the right wing to Soria with a good head fake. Crossover move. Cross court left to Beatty. Beatty top of the circle with the dribble. Stop and go. Comes down the lane. Leans and shoots. A double clutch off the front of the rim. No good. Ball tipped up in the air. Beatty gets his own rebound. Goes back up over the front of the iron and scores. Beatty 6 points and 2 rebounds. Starting to do some damage on the Trojans. The leading score. 14-12. Eagles down by 2 with 1:35. Driving the lane, Patterson with a head fake. In the paint, kicks it off the left wing to Corona. Back deep to Patterson to reset. Gonna let the clock run a little bit here as he backs out to the timeline. Tough pressure by Lowe, and they call a hip foul. Coach Ross shaking his head a little bit there. The foul on Lowe, his second. 6th team foul here in the first, and that'll be a double bonus. Right now, the Trojans are 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. Patterson 2 for 2 himself. He's got 4 points. 6-point leader, though, is Walsh. Eagles leader Beatty was 6, 4 for David, and a bucket for Josiah Clay. 14-12. Trojans trying to extend the lead to 4 here with a couple of free throws. Their biggest lead was 4 earlier. First shot's up and good. A swish for Patterson. Perfect 3 for 3. Now with 5 points. They ring the cash register vocals here at Trojan Gym. One more shot attempt for Patterson with a 3-point lead. Second shot is in and out, no good. Pulled down underneath by Malachi David. Already his 4th rebound, gives it off to Beatty. Beatty bounces it back behind him to Lowe, who comes into the front court, now the point guard. Back to Beatty on the far right sideline. Crossover move, comes back to the time stripe, gives it off to the left side to Sanders. Back to Beatty, top of the circle. Sanders just checked in. Pass deflected, Beatty gets it knocked right back to him. Luckily, Corona flicked it back and picked up by Sanders. They get it over to David on the right wing. He's going to fire up a 3. High arching rainbow, no good, but a double clutch rebound doesn't go in for Beatty on the left block, and then pulled down underneath by Walsh for his 2nd rebound. Allen up court to Patterson now. He's going to slow it down for the offense with 43 seconds left first quarter. Loads the ball to the right wing to Herrera. To the right baseline with a pass to Walsh. Behind the back pass to the right wing. Driving is Herrera to the right elbow. And we got a 3-second violation. After that pass, camping in the lane was Walsh. That'll just be the second turnover for the Trojans. Both teams with 2 apiece. 33 seconds to work with now for the Eagles, who trail by 3, 15-12. Mayfield playing a half-court defense. Patterson going to take his first break for the Trojans. Their starting point guard as he exits with 5 points. Beatty will bounce it into low in the backcourt, taking his time here. 30 seconds left in the first. Comes across the time stripe, gets a screen from Marora, who just checked in. Gets it back to low down the lane. He tries to lean to the hoop, throw it over the rim, and is fouled. Got side chopped there. Hit hard to the floor, and the foul on the Trojans. See, they call that one against. Looks like it'll be Williams' second personal, 3rd team foul, and puts Lowe on the line. Last night, Lowe went 0 for 2. Eagles were 57% from the charity stripe, 8 of 14. Lowe makes his first free throw, gets in the scorebook. That was the first free throw of the game for the Eagles, who trail by 2, 15-13. 21 seconds left in the first. One more shot for Lowe. Off the back of the rim. Chased down on the right block by Herrera. His first rebound. He'll take the dribble into the front court with 18 seconds left in the quarter. Guarded closely by Lowe. Still on that Trojan logo in the middle. Sends the ball near sideline right to Covarrubia. Back to the top to Herrera near the timeline. Dribbles behind his back. Wraparound pass to the left block going high as Williams misses the shot. Lowe picks it up and throws a 3/4 court shot at the buzzer, but it's well short of the rim. So Lowe gets the final rebound of the quarter as your Hobbs Eagles trail by 2, 15-13 at the end of 1 here in Las Cruces. We'll take a 1-minute break, come back with more Hobbs Eagle Hoops live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here in Las Cruces, Hobbs Eagle Hoops. Your Eagles trail Mayfield 15-13 heading into the second quarter. Top scorer for Mayfield right now, Walsh with 6. He hit a tray. 5 points for Patterson, their point guard. And for the Hobbs Eagles is Braddock Beatty with 6. And 4 for Malachi David. Eagles out rebounding Mayfield 10-4 in that first quarter. But a couple more second and third opportunities for the Eagles on some missed shots. That's got them some more boards. Leading rebounders Malachi David with 4, 3 for Braddock Beatty. Mayfield basketball to start the second quarter with a 2-point lead. Eagles were down by 4 in the first quarter yesterday, 14-10. Pass down left corner, fadeaway 3, in and out, no good for Corona. And we got some bodies hitting the floor, a couple Trojans on their backs. Looks like a rebounding foul quickly here for the Eagles. Or actually, he was going up for a shot on the tip there. So that was getting the rebound was Walsh. That'll be his 3rd board. They call that on Adarius Proby, his 2nd. Wait a second here. Now it's a confusion. Now they send a thrower to the baseline. I didn't think there was a shot to begin with, but then I saw them move him to the line, kind of wondering, was he tipping? Was he rebounding? Now they got 3 refs having a little clinic to try to come up with it. Now they're going to say 2 shots. So that's where we were to begin with, although usually shouldn't have to have a clinic to decide if you're the guy calling the foul. It's either a shot or it isn't. You don't need to have 2 guys helping you with the call there. So 2 free throws coming for Walsh after his 3rd rebound. He's 1 for 1 from the stripe, but misses off the front of the rim. Okay, I don't want to hear ball don't lie. That's old cliche time. Don't like to use those. One more shot here for Walsh. They're 4 of 6 in the line as a team. The second one is good. Walsh now with 7 points. He is a leader. 7:42 left here in the second. Eagles down 16-13. Biggest deficit was 4 in the first quarter. Pass up top to Beatty in the front court. He's going to get it down to David, who's got some size advantage. Leans and shoots towards the right of the hoop and scores. Going hard on the glass that time. David completely towering over the 2 defenders by about 4 or 5 inches. That's 6 points for David. Try to add 7 here with another free throw attempt. Hobbs 1 of 2 from the line. Lowe had both of those opportunities in the first quarter. 16-15 can tie it up with the free throw and does so. Swishes it through. 7 now for David to lead the Eagles. And we're tied at 16. Boy, deja vu from last night at Organ Mountain. 7:30 left, second quarter, 16 all. Patterson will bring it across with the dribble. Pass to the near right side to Herrera. Gives it to the right wing, gets it back from Covarrubia. Back to Covarrubia again in the right corner. Down to the right block, leaning and shooting is Walsh. Misses the shot. Ball's pulled down underneath, though, by Herrera. Sends it back to the right corner, and a 3 on the way, and good. Nailing it is Covarrubia. That's his first tray. He's got 5 points. And that is the third tray of the game for the Trojans. Eagles quickly back. We're tied at 19. Shot in the paint for Beatty. In and out, no good. Clapped his hands after that. Wanted to have it back. Didn't get the complete follow-through he wanted. In transition after the rebound was Walsh with his fourth. Tries to shoot. The ball gets swatted. I'm not sure if he got that pass off to Patterson or whether that was him actually shooting in the air that time, but they called the rebounding foul regardless against Mayfield. So that will be their first team foul. Didn't see who that was. Big crashing in the lane that time. They didn't get it on the scoreboard either. Hobbs basketball with a 19-16 deficit. Malachi David gives the story. He goes to the rack as he scoops it on the right side. Got hit in the face with a sidearm. You can see his head snap to the side towards the hoop that time. And that will be the second on the Trojans here in the second quarter. Luckily to have a head on the shoulders still. They get that foul against Herrera, his first. And 2 free throws now for Soria. He's yet to score in this game. He had 21 last night with those 6 trays. Misses off the back of the rim, though. He was 1 for 1 on the line for the Eagles last night. Eagles have had 4 scorers so far. Beatty, David, Clay, and Lowe. And 4 for the Trojans, Patterson, Covarrubia, Corona, and Wall. Second shot good for Soria, 1 for 2 on the stripe. And it's 19-17. Eagles down by 2. Quickly in the front court, Patterson meets a double team. Cross court left, he throws a bad shot over towards, or pass over towards the timeline, far sideline, and it sails out of bounds. That'll be a turnover for the Trojans. They're third in the contest. 19-17, Mayfield with the lead. 6:28 left in the first half. Inbound to Soria in the backcourt as he brings it across on the dribble. Unloads to Beatty on the left wing. Getting sized up tough by Patterson. Pivots left, sends it down to David, and they're going to say David shoved his defender down before posting up. Corona was sitting on his butt on the floor that time. So David will get his second personal. That'll be the first team foul against the Eagles here in the quarter, and their third turnover. Both teams with 3 turnovers so far. Still a 2-point Trojan lead. 6:15 left here in the second. Patterson will throw it far court left. Over to Corona. Corona zings it down left corner to Herrera. Back to Corona. Bounce it again, Herrera. He's going to drive left baseline. Tries to throw a pass back to Patterson in front of Coach Ross on this near sideline. Errant throw. Coach Ross almost went up and slapped it away from the offense that time. Another turnover back-to-back. That's 4 total for Mayfield. Starting to go the wrong direction on their offense. Eagle basketball. Soria comes across with a hippity-hop. Guarding closely is Covarrubia. Gets a screen from David. Hands off to Clay, who just checked in. Stop and go to the right wing. Flicks it up top to Soria. Being very patient on the offense on the perimeter. One hands it down to Lowe in the right corner. Posting up David. Fade away in the right block on 3 defenders and puts it through. He's got 9 points to lead the Eagles. Dominating underneath is Malachi David. 19 all. Down the lane on the right baseline on the dribble. Covarrubia kicks it out right wing to Corona. Ball gets tipped. Covarrubia recovers on the left elbow. Sends it back to reset to Herrera. Back over to Patterson on the right wing. Looking back to his coach on this sideline, trying to get the play call. Coach Trujillo giving him a signal now. Top of the arc, stop and go for Patterson. Fade back and shoots up a 3. Good. Malachi David stepped back for a second, made him pay the price. As Patterson now with 8 points, his first tray of the ball game. 22-19. Mayfield by 3. 5 minutes left in the half. Soria with the ball on the near side left in front of the Mayfield bench. Gets a screen up top from David. Dribbles the right elbow, gives it back to David. Back to Soria, handoff behind him. Now on the left wing with the dribble to Lowe in the left corner. Lowe's going to dribble up top, hand off to Clay with a jab step. He'll take on Walsh. Backs it up to the three-point line, finds Proby right wing. Down low to David again, fadeaway jumper. There he is again. Who's going to guard him? He's got 11 points to lead the Eagles and leads both teams now. Hobbs down by 1, 22-21. The post-up game working for the Eagles. 4:27 left in the second. Bounce pass to the far left sideline to Corona. Cross courts it to the corner right to Covarrubias. Bounce pass back deep to Patterson. He'll drive to the right elbow. No-look pass right baseline. Shot in the way from 15. Covarrubias no good. Low at the rebound. He'll take the quick dribble and transition up court. Comes down the lane but fumbles it on the right side of the paint off his knee out of bounds. So Lowe got the rebound, his second, but had the 4th turnover for the Eagles. Both teams with 4 TOs, and clock stop now with 4:08 left in the second. Returning to court for the Eagles, Jalen Sanders. And also getting his first action is Javen Hernandez, who hit a big bucket in the 4th quarter yesterday in that win over Oregon Mountain. 4:08 left here in the first half. 22-21 Mayfield by 1. 6-0 record against the 7-1 Eagles. Couple of passes on the yo-yo. Herrera in the front court. Far left. Bounce it to the left wing to Walsh. Spins and gives it back to Corona. Fires off to the right side of Covarrubias to Corona on the left wing. Correction, that's Herrera. Bounce it up top to Walsh. Walsh falls to the floor on his stomach and kind of moves around, rolling a little bit. Coach Ross out in the court helping out the officials. They force Zebra out there and gets the call. That'll be another turnover for Mayfield. They've had 3 in this quarter and starting to self-implode there, only with a 1-point lead now. Hobbs could take the lead here with 3:40 left in the second. In the front court is Lowe. Gives it up top, and a shot on the way for Sanders, who nails the tray. They left him open. He puts it through. His first bucket of the ball game. Trojans aren't going to wait, though. Quickly a pass up court. Sails out of bounds on the right baseline. And I believe it was also Sanders that touched that one before it went out. So he's running both ends of the court. Nice shot with a follow-through for Sanders for his first bucket. The Eagles have converted just 1 tray so far, and that was Sanders. Coming off the bench, inbound right baseline, Herrera gets into the right corner to Corona. Corona drives to the right elbow, sends it back up top to reset to Walsh with 3:24. Spin move in the lane, tries a hook shot, picked up off the air, off the block, and David got a piece of it, and it was Sanders at the rebound, goes backdoor to Clay, who cannot go with the double clutch on the right glass. Ball gets knocked out of bounds on the near sideline. It will be Hobbs basketball. Sanders with the rebound on that previous defensive stand at the other end. Hobbs will have it right in front of the Mayfield bench, Low in front of the white and green. 3:14 left, second quarter. Hobbs with a 2-point lead based on that tray by Sanders, 24-22. Inbound to Sanders. He'll drive left to the arc, slides back up top and gives it off to Clay. Clay will back it out to the timeline in front of the Trojan. Over to Sanders, had to come back to get the ball. Kind of juggled it for a minute. Hands off to Clay on the right wing. Dribbles to the right corner. Stop and go, fade away, step back 3 from the right side, at the back of the rim, no good. Rebound on the paint, now going in transition, Covarrubias. And as he tries to get up the court, he's knocked to the floor, foul on the Eagles. They'll charge that one to Sanders, getting a little bit too tenacious on the D. His first, second team foul on the Eagles. Or correction, next third team foul on the Eagles. Will be Mayfield basketball. Inbound to the backcourt to Patterson. Trojans trailing for the first time by 2 here in the second with 2:45 remaining. Bounce pass left corner, faking a 3 is Corona. Sends it back to Patterson on the left wing. Back to Corona. This time he will shoot a rainbow 3 off the rim. David gets it, his 5th board on the right block. Hands it off to Lowe. Lowe going to take the dribble and he zigzags. He comes across the timeline, finds David on the right wing, spots a 3. Nothing but net. David fired it up. Second tray of the game for the Eagles. He's got 14 to lead the squad, and here comes the Trojans down by 5. Driving the lane with a push shot over the top of the defender, Javen Hernandez. They call the foul as Corona goes up on top of Hernandez. Those two guys were just battling hard, and it didn't look like Hernandez was leaning into him. They're just going to say he was maybe stepped underneath the shooter's leg or something there. That's the first on Hernandez. 14th foul on the Eagles, and that'll put on the line Corona. Corona's yet to shoot a free throw. He does have a tray in the game. First free throw up and good. He's got 4 points. They're 5 of 7 from the charity striper, the Trojans. Rodriguez going to take a seat. Checking in for him is Walsh. Hobbs remains with Sanders, David. Soria checks in. Hernandez and Beatty. Waiting for that second free throw now for Corona. It's bouncing around and good. He's got 5 points, 27-24. Eagles' biggest lead has been 5. In the backcourt, Soria getting a pass at the timeline from Sanders. Dribbles across, triple team. Throws it off right wing to Hernandez. Give it over to left to Sanders. Down to Beatty, left corner. Fakes it 3, drives the lane. Scoop shot, lost it in the air. Pulled down underneath by Walls for his 5th rebound. Beatty tried to get a steal, saves it on the right baseline. Gives to Hernandez, leads and shoots and scores. Javen Hernandez from the right block after the great steal by Beatty and the 6th Trojan turnover. Coming down the lane at the other end is Patterson. Dish off to the left wing to Corona. Fires up a 3 and swishes it through. Second try of the game for Corona. He's got 8 points. They're starting to hit those outsiders. 29-27, Eagles by 2. And across the front court is Beatty. He finds Soria in the right corner. Sends it to Hernandez right side again. Back to Soria. He fakes a 3, drives the lane, high arching layup and scores off the glass. Great read that time to the rim. Soria now with 3 points all in the second quarter. 31-27. Eagles up by 4. 1:19 left before the half. Trying to catch my breath just like last night at Oregon Mountain. Coming across the timeline, Patterson will throw it down to the left wing. Walsh will fire a 3 out the back of the iron. Another rebound for David. That's number 6. Outlet across the timeline to Sanders. Fumbled it for a second, recovers, gives to Beatty left corner. Beatty will sit it cross court right to Soria. Up top to David, thought about a 3, gives it to Sanders instead, left side. His air ball 3, unfortunately, goes right to the baseline, out of bounds. No chance for a rebound on that one. And a lot of subbing start now for the Eagles as Adrian Moore returns, gives David a well-deserved rest. He's got 10 points in the second, 14 overall for the Eagles, and 6 rebounds. Patterson's going to let the inbound roll towards the Mayfield bench on the near sideline, so he doesn't have to run any clock. Then he'll pick it up now as he brings it across with the dribble. Sends the ball over to the far left, bobbled by Williams. Williams returns back deep to Patterson. Eagles stepping out with a 2-3-1 or 2-2-1. Pass to the right wing and a 3 on the way and good. Nailing it is Covarrubias, his second try in a row in the second. He's got 8 points. 31-30, Hobbs by 1. Moore comes in the front court, gets bodied up by 2 defenders, knocked backward near the timeline. No foul call. Coach Ross has got to bail his team out with a timeout instead because, boy, did Moore get knocked off his feet that time. He did not want a turnover on that one. Eagles get the timeout, and we'll take one as well. 3:13 remaining here in the second. Hobbs 31, Mayfield 30. Stay with us. Back-to-back road games for the Hobbs Eagles here in Las Cruces as they lead 31-30 here in the second. I misquoted there earlier. I said 3:13 is 31.3. Sorry, I didn't see the decimal. Eagles are inbound. Beatty near the Mayfield bench near left. Gets it up top, and the defender falls down. Soria gets the pass. They're going to say he pushed him. Falling to the floor was Williams, top of the circle. Foul on Soria. That's his second. 15th foul, which will be double bonus for Mayfield. Add insult to injury as we head to the other end. Also a turnover for the Eagles. That's their 5th of the ball game. Wait, the scoreboard has 5 fouls. Oh, actually, that was an offensive push-off foul, so that does not count as a double bonus situation. Caught myself being the referee for a second here. Pass up top. Williams will drive the lane. Kickoff to the right wing. Driving paint as well as Covarrubias. Throws up a shot off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound right block for Williams. He tries to go back up with an air ball, though. Javen Hernandez rips it down for the Eagles on the boards. Pass up court on the bouncer to Beatty with 3 seconds. Lost it through 2 defenders as he tried to dribble through 2 of them. It must have touched one of the Mayfield Trojans because Hobbs will get the possession as it rolled out of bounds on the left base. 1 shot to go here. 31-30. Hobbs trying to extend on a 1-point lead. In batting will be Soria. Of course, we know David's got some size advantage, and that's why Coach Trujillo is bringing one of his big boys, Braden Rodriguez, some football body inside there. Soria gets it in. Shot from Hernandez. 15 on the left side. Hits the back of the rim and comes off. No good, but a good shot look there for Hernandez. But your Hobbs Eagles do manage a 1-point lead at the half, 31-30 over Mayfield. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with your halftime stats. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Hoops on the radio at Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page on the internet. Welcome back to halftime here in Las Cruces. Ty Friend here with you. Also, Evie Stuber back at the station on the scoreboard. Ron Gunner, your Hobbs Eagle team, working hard for you in the radio and internet style, as well as the team on the court. Hobbs with a 1-point lead over Mayfield at half, 31-30. Let's look at the numbers first for the home team Trojans. They got a lot of guys that are pretty close in scoring. Nobody in double digits yet, but 3 with 8, 1 with 7. Corey Patterson, their point guard, has 8 points. He had a tray in the second quarter, was also 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Very fast guard. They got to watch his penetration. Likes to dish to that 3 shot as well when he needs to. So he's kind of a double threat out there with the pass and the dribble. Other 8-point scorers, Christian Covarrubia. He's had 2 trays in the second quarter with his 8. 1 rebound for him. Also 8 for Fernando Corona, another 3-point shooter for him. He's got 2 trays. Also perfect on the line, 2 for 2 with 2 boards. Homer Walsh coming off the bench for 7 points. He is 2 for 3 from the charity stripe, and his first shot he made in the first quarter was a tray as well. So lots of guys can shoot from the outside for this Mayfield team. They've had 4 scores in the first half. I should also mention, too, Walsh, the guy with the most rebounds, he's got 5 to lead the Trojans. In terms of turnovers, they do have a total of 6, one more than the Hobbs Eagles, and more of those coming in the second quarter. Their free throws 7 of 9 for 77%. Hobbs out-rebounded Mayfield in the first half, 15-11, but we said Walsh, the leading boardman for the Trojans, with 5. Flipping it over to the Hobbs Eagles. They do have 1 in double digits, and taking advantage of his size, Malachi David, 14 points and 6 rebounds, starting to work on that double-double. He had 10 of his points in the second quarter on 3 buckets and a tray, plus a free throw on a and-one situation. So definitely dominating in the paint, and those 6 boards that go along with it. He was tied for first with 6 boards last night. That was in a full game. Already has 6 here at the half. Looking forward to some more great stuff in the paint for the Eagles in the second half. A little bit of drop-off in scoring after that, though. Braddock Beatty was 6 points. Those were all coming in the first quarter. Did not score in the second. 3 points for Lyric Soria. He had a bucket and 1 of 2 from the charity stripe all in the second quarter. Jalen Sanders came off the bench for a tray in the second quarter. He has 3 points. Josiah Clay had a bucket for 2 points. Jadarius Lowe, 1 for 2 on the line for 1 point. And Javen Hernandez had a jumper in the second quarter for his 2 points. Eagles so far have had 7 scores in the books already. They've had 5 turnovers, 1 less than Mayfield. 15-11 lead on the rebounding. And the leader for the Eagles, 6 for Malachi David and 3 for Braddock Beatty. Hobbs 3 of 5 from the charity stripe for 60%, and they are, again, a little bit behind free throw attempts versus Mayfield, but not as bad as it was last night against Oregon Mountain. 2 3-point shots only for the Eagles. That one from David and the other from Sanders, again, compared to 6 for Mayfield. I think Hobbs is probably talking at half right now, Coach Ross, about watching that penetration from Patterson down the paint, dishing it out in the corners. That's where they like to shoot their trays quite a bit, and they've definitely got to have people stepping out. If they're going to run that extended zone, they're going to have some guys on those wings taking care of those outside shooters and kind of moving around to the paint as well. Check the paint, then check out to the outside to make sure there's not an easy open 3. 31-30, though. Your Eagles up by 1 as we get ready for third quarter action. We'll take another 2-minute break, come back here in Las Cruces at Mayfield High. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Hoops on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back here, third quarter action quickly starting now. The Eagles basketball. They're up by one. Bad pass for Beatty at the top of the arc. It's stolen away. For the Eagles, that'll be their sixth turnover. Pass down the lane. Patterson lost it, got it back. Fadeaway jumper, right base, rolling around the rim and good. Patterson got the ball back, luckily for his Trojans at least. They regained the lead by one as he now with 10 points. First man in double digits for the Trojans. Eagle basketball, 32-31 Mayfield. Clay has it on the top of the arc, hand off to Beatty. Beatty will dribble off left and give it off to Soria. Screen from Proby, who spins in the lane, waiting for the pass, didn't get it. Soria then bounces it to him right baseline. Double clutch on the right glass and scores. Proby in the books now with his first bucket, and a whistle right after the shot. Look, they have a delay of game warning underneath the hoop. Boy, that referee acted like there'd been somebody violently hurt underneath the hoop. Blew that whistle with some authority out there. Hobbs with a 1-point lead now, 33-32. Slowing it down is Patterson now. Always looks at that bench to get the call from Coach Trujillo. Comes across the time stripe and gives the ball off to the left wing. That's Corona. Bounce to the right elbow to Walsh. Down low to Patterson. Scoop shot underneath the hoop from right to left. Off the front of the rim. Put back up on the right block. Walsh held on to the basketball. Didn't extend it to the hoop. And I think they're going to give him a shooting foul here. And they're going to call that against Proby. That'll be his third. First team foul on the Eagles. Walsh will be on the line. Walsh is make it 2 of 3 from the charity stripe. Makes the free throw. They're now 8 of 10 for 80%. Again, Walsh with 8 points. You get one shot here. It's tied up at 33. Bounce around the rim and good. He's got 9. 34-33, Mayfield by 1. Thing is going back and forth. Little tug-of-war action here in Las Cruces. Pass up to Beatty, the left wing. Returns back to Soria at the time stripe on the logo of the Trojan. Hand off to Clay, top of the circle now. Gives it Beatty a handoff. Come and get the ball, Soria. Throws it down low to Proby. Fade away on the left block. He gets hammered. Walsh with the foul. Got him off the feet that time, then kind of leaned into Proby. Proby doing a good job of cutting without the basketball, getting him some passes down in the paint. So Proby will get 2 free throws here. Walsh with his first personal. First team foul on the Trojans here in the third quarter. Proby made his first bucket just seconds ago. Try to add on to it with free throws. Hobbs 3 of 5 at the half, 60%, and misses off the front of the rim. He'll get one more. Eagles came into this game in the low 60s in terms of the free throw percentage. One more for Proby to try to tie it up again. Deep knee bend, shot's good, little fade that time, puts it through. He's got 3 points, we're tied at 34. 6:31 left here in the third. Long pass to half court, Patterson with the connect. Gets it down to the right corner, 3 on the way. We have a whistle. Bodies are flopping over near the shooter. Covarubio fired up a tray, but I'm not sure they're going to count this or not. Referee said no on it. I think they have a screen foul. Or was it against the Eagles trying to get away from a screen? We'll have to wait and see here. It looks like the foul on the Eagles, they're going to say before the three-point shot was attempted. That's Proby's 4th personal, trying to get around the screen. Second team foul, but it did save the Trojans' three-point shot there. Patterson will get it in to the right wing, gets it back in the corner right, drives the lane, bounce pass backdoor left block, fade for Rodriguez, out the front of the rim, no good. Soria's going to chase it down for Hobbs, his first rebound, he'll dribble up court. Throws it ahead to a breaking Beatty with a lefty layup, wide open and scored. He's a receiver for a reason. 8 points for him, 36-34. Steal at half court by Clay, comes down the lane, little push shot over the front of the rim and scores. Clay with 4 points, that's the 7th Mayfield turnover. Eagles by 4, couple of passes, holding the ball near the timeline before coming across is Corona. Sends it to Walsh, to the left wing, spin, kick it up top to Rodriguez. Back over to the left side. To Corona, back to the timeline to Patterson. Sends it to the right wing to Covarubio. A little bit out of sync on offense now. Dribbles the left of the lane, scoop shot. They're going to say he got knocked to the floor. Trying to chop with the block of the shot. Javen Hernandez and Clay were in the area. And they called the foul on Clay. That's his second. He didn't like that one. Third team foul already. 3-1 foul count. Favor the Trojans. That will send to the line to shoot 2. Covarubio. Covarubio has yet to shoot a free throw, does have 2 trays earlier in the second quarter, and bounce around the rim and good. He's got 9 points. 38-35 though, Hobbs still by 3. Sub for the Trojans coming on is Williams as he checks in for the big kid Rodriguez. 8 seniors on the Trojans, 7 for the Eagles, so lots of experience returning from last year. Second shot is up and good, a swish for Covarrubias. He's got 10, double digits now. Second guy with 10 for the Trojans. Leader still 14 for Malachi David for Hobbs, and 8 for Beatty. Into the front court, Soria getting some help from Clay on the left side. He puts a bounce past him. Screen up top from David. Sends it back to the right block to Beatty. Up top to Clay. Hippity hop down the lane. Fadeaway jumper. Free throw line. Now good. Beatty to tip it up right side with 2 hands. Misses. Gets his own rebound. He's got 4 boards. Then a fadeaway in the middle of the paint and scores it through. 10 for Beatty. Talk about a physical battle underneath. Football helping you out on the basketball court. Eagles by 4, 40-36. Patterson fumbled the ball on the far right sideline. Was picked up by Covarrubias. Returned to the time stripe in the hands of Corona. Over to left wing to Williams. Williams to Patterson, left elbow. Fadeaway jumper off the back of the rim. And a battle for the boards near the free throw line. Looked like an Eagle might have pulled the shoulder back of one of the rebounders for Mayfield. They call the foul on Clay. He's got 2 in this quarter, 3 overall. 14 foul already for the Eagles. 1 away from the double bonus, so Coach Ross is going to have to deal with some foul trouble here. He'll send in Sanders for the sub to bring out Clay with those 3 fouls. Patterson will inbound from the right baseline for the Trojans with a 4-point deficit. Trying to give them their first loss of the season at 6-0. They'll send it back deep. Jumping up for it was Williams. Up top to Walsh. Spins in the lane at the free throw line. Good D by Beatty to keep him there. Unloads left wing to Corona. Backs it up. Throws up a 3. David puts a hand up there. And off the front of the rim. No good. David pulls it down outside the paint. That's David's 7th rebound. He wants to be the point guard too. Throws it across to Beatty on the right wing. Crossover move, hippity hop, leads and shoots in the right block. You're going to say he stumbled too much and gets a travel. Looked like he had the dribble down, so you really don't have travels on dribbles. I guess maybe he picked up the feet and fumbled around before the dribble. That will be a turnover number 7 for the Eagles. Both teams with 7. And a timeout on the court. Different strategy time for both coaches to see who's going to get over the hump here. Although the Eagles have a 4-point lead, 40-36, 4:36 remaining, third quarter. We're back in 30. Back live, Hobbs Eagle Hoops here on the internet and the radio for free as usual, 24/7. As much basketball we can get on the airwaves for you. 4:36 left third quarter after a timeout. Mayfield basketball. They trail the Eagles 40-36 by 4. Biggest lead of the game for Hobbs has been 5 in the first half, 4 for Mayfield. Bringing the ball across the time stripe is Patterson. Gives it off left wing to Walsh. Kick it over to right wing to Corona. Dump it down right block to Patterson. Double team, the little guard pivoting. Kick it to the right corner for a 3-shot off the back of the rim for Corona. Put back up on the left block by Covarrubias. The whistle blows as he goes up in the air. They're going to count it. He was sailing well over the left rim that time. So he'll get the bucket. They call the foul on the Eagles. That will be their 5th double bonus, and that's the 2nd on Soria. Chance for a 3-point play for Covarrubias. He's got 12 points, 2 for 2 on the line so far, 100%. Still a 2-point lead for Hobbs, though. Shot is up, and it's a swish for Covarrubias. 3 for 3 on the line now with 13 points. He's the leader for the Trojans. 40-39, Hobbs by 1. Coming across the time stripe is Soria. Taking on Walsh, backs it out. One hands it over to Sanders on the right wing. Takes a few dribbles, pops up a 3. High one off the back of the rim. Pulled down at the free throw line by Walsh. He's going to get it to his guard. And a whistle. We got an injured player back towards the Hobbs Eagle bench. Coach Ross helping him out. Walsh getting his 7th rebound. Then went in transition. The injured player for Mayfield was Covarrubia, the guy that just scored that free throw, three-point play actually, 13 points, and he's running towards the locker room now. Their leading scorer at this point. Not a good deal for Mayfield. They're going to give the ball back to the Trojans in their front court now. Ball was already in the front court, so at the 28-foot line. Inbounding will be Corona. Gets it back to the time stripe to Patterson. He'll be guarded by Sanders. Crossover, lost the ball. It rolls to the near sideline left, and then flicked back to Walsh. Walsh dribbles to the left of the lane, tries to go up, and they're going to have Patterson holding the ball as he drove to the hoop. Got his hand right on top of the basketball. No foul calls, a jump instead. Good defense for Patterson, not to swat at his arm, but just keep it on top of the leather. Arrow will go to Mayfield, though. Right baseline, Patterson to inbound, down by 1. Flips it back to the right wing to Corona. Dribbles to the free throw line, bounce it up top to Walsh. He'll back it out. Takes a lefty dribble, crossover move to the free throw line, banging into Beatty. Over to Patterson, right corner. Bounce it back on the give and go. Walsh tries to go up with that, and he gets hit from behind. Beatty tried to swat the shot. Kind of a shot put action there for Walsh. Foul on Beatty from the right block. That's his first personal. 16 fouls, so already been in the double bonus. Walsh on the line. He is 4 for 5 for 80% and makes his fourth in a row. 3 points for Walsh here in this third quarter. He's got 10 overall. 40-40 score, and a fadeaway on this next free throw makes 11 for him, and a 1-point Mayfield lead, 41-40. Here come the Eagles now. Lowe, who just checked in, the point guard. Stop and go now in the front court. Backs it out. Walsh makes him fall down a little bit. Pass to Beatty in the right corner. Dump it down to David, right block. Turns, fires, a little shot over the front of the rim. Little finger flick that time for David. He's got 16. Quickly, the Trojans to the other end. Patterson in the front court, guarded by Lowe. Bounce pass to the left wing in the hands of Herrera. He'll back it out as make that the defensive Sanders on that one. A dish off to the left wing to Corona. Drives the lane, high arching shot, pushes it high over the rim, no good. Gets his own rebound, his third. Misses it again off the back of the iron, and Malachi David rips it down for the Eagles. David now with 8 rebounds and passing it ahead to the left side, Sanders. Up top to David, fires up an NBA 3, uncontested, an air ball. Eagles can't save it, and that will go out of bounds. Didn't have any rebounders ready on that one, so kind of shooting yourself in the foot. 42-41, Hobbs up by 1. With 2:47 left here in this third quarter. Patterson with the basketball, throws it across the timeline, far right. Gets it to Herrera. He's just going to hold it under his bicep there. It's coming out on Diaz Clay, who just checked in. 2:35 and ticking here. Hobbs up by 1. Takes the dribble finally to the top of the circle. Sends it back to Patterson, far right sideline, and Sori's going to step out. Sliding with him down the lane. Kick down to the left corner. Walsh wide open. Chest shot for 3 and nails it. Walsh has 2 trays in the game, and he's got 14 points. Leading scorer now for the Trojans. 44-42 Mayfield. Pass down to David, left corner. He'll answer it with a tray himself. Swishes the net. David now with 19. That's his second tray of the game. 45-44 Eagles. Patterson with the basketball right in front of the Trojan logo in the front court. Coming to get the ball on the near side is Williams. In front of the Mayfield bench. He'll just hold on to it. Hobbs going to be backed up a little bit. David now is going to step out on the little guy. Puts a hand in front of his face. Drives down the left block. Kick it back deep. And gets it in the hands of Patterson. David was going to try to take him on for a second and backs out. Eagles kind of extending a matchup zone, it appears, on the near sideline now. David's going to put a hand out again. Patterson, crossover, spin move to the free throw line. Back to Walsh, left corner, does not shoot the 3, drives the lane. Little hook shot and is fouled. Beatty got on top of him that time. So Beatty's going to get his second. Hobbs racking up the fouls here in the third with 7 total. And Walsh back to line. He's been doing a lot of free throw shooting in this quarter. 4 for 4 from the charity stripe in the third. And 6 of 7 overall for the game. First shot's off the front of the rim. Hobbs Eagle fan whistling hard before he released that one, caused him to miss. Still a 1-point Eagle lead, 45-44. With the free throw here, though, it would tie it up. David, Soria, Clay, and Hernandez now in the paint. Free throw up and good. Actually, give him a three-shotter on that. So Walsh now. Actually, I guess they called it a lane violation on that first one. That's why he's shooting that second one. This is off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound for David, continues to rip him down. He's got 9 boards, outlet to the far left sideline. Whistle from the Hobbs Eagle bench. Before they can clear the half court, Coach Ross wants to talk strategy with 1:20 left here in the third. We are tied at 45, 90 points on the scoreboard here in Las Cruces. Hobbs 45, Mayfield 45, back in 1 minute on the Hobbs Eagle Network. We're back after a timeout here in Las Cruces, all tied at 45. Still 1:20 left here in the third. It was a timeout for the Eagles. They'll have the ball in their backcourt, far left sideline, as Beatty will get it in to Soria. Soria will take the hippity-hop dribble across the time stripe against Corona. Gets around him, now a double team. It's stripped by Corona. That's a turnover. Sends it ahead to a breaking Walsh and lays it in with the score. Walsh continues to rack up the points. The Eagles getting the turnover. That's their 7th of the game. 47-45. Pass to Beatty in the paint. Fade away from the right elbow. Rolling off the front of the rim. No good. Loose underneath the bucket. And a rebound pulled down by the guard. That is Patterson. Tries to throw it down the lane at the other end. Stolen by Soria. So back-to-back turnovers. And finds Beatty up ahead for a lefty layup. Beatty now with 12 points. Both teams starting to have some issues with turnovers. 8 for Mayfield. And 8 for the Eagles. Coming across the timeline is Patterson, unloads to the right wing. Bad pass up top. Beatty's going to steal it. He's going to take it with the lefty layup, misses it. Soria with the rebound. He tries to scoop on the right side of the rim and is fouled. So Soria gets a rebound. Beatty got the steal. And the Mayfield Trojans got their 9th turnover. I don't know how I'm keeping track of all this stuff. Soria's on the line. He's 1 of 2. All 3 of his points in the second quarter are trying to get his first of the third with 23 seconds left. And a tie ball game. Perfect opportunity to break the tie with 2 free throws. First shot is up and bounce around the rim and good. I thought that was coming off, but it stayed in there. He's got 4 points. Coach Trujillo's got to go to his bench, bringing that bruiser, Braden Rodriguez, as he checks in for Walsh. Walsh has been a stellar player off the bench. He's got 17 points, 10 of those here in the third quarter, and also 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Second shot bounced around and good. Soria gets them both. He's got 5 points and is now 3 of 4 from the line, 75%. Beatty's going to take a break, and coming in for him is Javen Hernandez. 23.4 remaining here in the third. By their lonesome in the backcourt. Inbound to Patterson for the Trojans. He's going to let the ball roll. Wants to have a full chance for a play here. Not trying to rush it. Picks it up near the timeline. He'll bring it across with the dribble. Bounce pass up top. Dangerous pass to Williams. Back to Patterson left wing. Kick it down left corner. Herrera for 3 and swishes it. That's his first bucket of the ball game. 49-47. Or make it 50-49, excuse me. It's a 1-point Mayfield lead. In the front court, dribbling at the free throw line. Spin move, Clay. Jump stop. Shot from the left block. Fade away and count it. Clay puts it through before the buzzer. That will be it as the buzzer sounds before that shot returned. 6 points for Josiah Clay and a perfect chance for the Eagles to get back up by 1. 51-50 over Mayfield. Boy, catch your breath. We're going to get the saddle on here. 1 more quarter to go as your Eagles by 1. Come back with us in 60 seconds. Back live here in Mayfield High School in Las Cruces. Your Eagles start the fourth quarter at 51-50. Beatty with 12 points for the Eagles, 19 for Malachi David. Their two top scorers combining for 31. Hobbs basketball. There's three double digits for Mayfield. We'll get to them in a minute. Ball to Beatty in the right wing in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench with a 1-point lead. Up top to Proby. Proby will back it out, dribbles through his leg, gets some tough pressure applied there by Corona. Gets a strip near half court. Proby sliding on the floor, and he goes out of bounds at the half court line. And that will wait for the official to call it here. Yep, it's going to be a turnover for Hobbs, unfortunately. That's their 9th of the ball game. Actually make it 10th. Mayfield basketball down by 1. Into the front court, a pass up top to Walsh. He backs it out, gives it off to the right wing to Corona. Back low to Walsh, so they give and go. His shot is swatted from the right block as David sends that to the baseline. Hands straight up and just kind of flicked the wrist at it. Mayfield ball underneath on the right base. Inbounding is Herrera. Gets it into the right block to Rodriguez. Back to Herrera, right wing. Fadeaway three high off the back rim. Walsh tries to get it, but he is knocked down as he goes up in the air on the left baseline, and Beatty kind of got up underneath him that time with the hip. Beatty's third personal. Be the first team foul here in the fourth quarter. Inbounding will be on the left base, Herrera. Sub coming in for the Eagles, Jadarius Lowe will check in. In for Josiah Clay. Beatty, Proby, David, and Soria will remain in the game. Inbounding left base is Herrera. Throws it in, but overthrows his man, the big boy Rodriguez, taken by Beatty. Beatty tries to dribble, gets kicked out of his hands, out of bounds on the far left sideline. Hobbs will retain possession. Another turnover for Mayfield. They're double digit now, 10. We mentioned Eagles with 10 turnovers as well, so pretty even in that negative category. 51-50, Hobbs by 1. Soria gets a screen across the timeline by David. Throws it back to David, fakes a three. Gives it back to Soria on the left wing. Flicks it right back to David, top of the circle, drives the left of the lane. Double clutch on the left block. It stays in the cylinder, counted on the J, and a chance for a three-point play for David. He's got 21 points, leading the Eagles, and 1 for 1 from the charity stripe. They're extending the lead to 3 now, 53-50. .706 left, fourth quarter. Now some subs for Coach Trujillo. Returning is the point guard Patterson and also Covarrubia. He has hit 2 trays in the game. He's got 13, Patterson with 10, so to their double-digit scores. Their leader, though, is Walsh. He's a 6th man with 17 points. Right now, David trying to make it 22, and off the front of the rim, as I said, that no good. Chased down by Patterson, the guard, and he'll bring it across quickly for Mayfield. Patterson's first rebound. Top of the circle, sends it off to the right wing to Corona. Bounce pass to the free throw line to Walsh, back it into Beatty. Lost the ball, picks it back up. Double clutch in the right block. It gets swatted from behind. Beatty got a hand on it. Fisher was getting close to calling a foul there. He kept moving his arm up and down, but then let it go to the baseline. Luckily, not another foul on the Eagles. Inbounding is Patterson on the right baseline. Throws a hard one off the leg of Corona. He was able to retract it in the right corner. Step back three on the way and good. Malachi David waited a second to get out there. That's 11 now for Corona. 3 trays in the game for him. 53 all. We are tied up. Beatty with the basketball in the front court. Gets a screen up top from David. Continues the left to lane. High arching layup with the lefty. No good. Ball loose. Left of the paint. It's picked up for Mayfield. On the rebound and the dribble now in the front court is Covarrubia. Actually, that was Corona. That's his 4th rebound. Those two guys look alike. There's a foul on the far right sideline. Hobbs reaching a little bit. They call that one on Proby. If that is him, that'll be his 5th. Yep, it is. 5th on Proby. He will exit with 3 points, 1 rebound, and 1 of 2 on the line. Unfortunate end for him on the court tonight. 6:21 remaining, tied up at 53. Inbound to the backcourt, hits off the chest of Patterson. On the floor is Jamin Hernandez. Hernandez slid on the floor trying to recover it. They called the travel. He never had control, but they're going to give him a turnover. So both teams turn it over on that possession. 11 each on the turnovers. The inbound deep to the backcourt for Patterson. Trying to make a 53 all tie. 6:10 remaining in the game. Patterson top of the circle, spinning against Hernandez. Unloads it to the right wing to Corona. He'll hold it for a second against David. Back deep to Patterson near the Trojan logo. Still in the front court. Hernandez with some tough defense, but he breaks through, though. Scoop shot down the right lane, no good. Beatty gets a rebound. The official calls a jump. He had a man over his back, Walsh. They've been calling Beatty on fouls for quite a bit of this half, but now they'll call the jump on that one. Beatty had position, too, and had a saddle over his back. Jump ball. Patterson the inbound on the right baseline. Having some trouble getting it in. Finally does so to the right corner to Williams. Williams will send it back to dribble backward as Corona to the timeline. Unloads the left wing to Covarrubias. Takes a step before the dribble against Lowe and then gets the travel. Not doing themselves any favors with the tie at 53. Their 12th turnover for the Trojans. Still 53-53. Inbound to Soria. 5:50 left in the game as he comes across the timeline against Walsh. Bounces it off to the right wing to Hernandez. Gives it back up top to David. To Soria on the right wing. Shake and bake, crossover, spinning. Back behind to Hernandez on the right wing. Up top to David. With his left hand off the dribble. Jump stop at the free throw line. Kick it out to Beatty left wing. Dump it back on the give it go to David. Turns and fires in the middle of the paint. Off the glass and count it. David with 23 points to lead both teams. 55-53. Eagles by the deuce. 5:18 remaining here in the fourth. To Walsh in the front court. Left wing. Take it on Beatty. Crossover move. Ball gets stripped by Beatty. Picked up by Covarrubias and flicked back deep to Corona. Corona wants it cleared out. Not going to take it, though. Over to the right wing to Williams. Williams picked up by Hernandez. Pass over to the left side to Corona. Stop it, go. Free crossover move. Reverse layup right side is blocked by David. Picked up by Soria on the rebound. He goes to the rack with it on the right side, and they're going to call the foul, the hold, before he shot the ball. Soria getting his third rebound, was taking it to the rack on the right of the rim. They get the foul against Mayfield. That's their second here in the fourth. They call the foul on Covarrubias, his first. Hobbs ball on the left baseline. It'll be Soria to inbound. Eagles up by 2. Got David and Hernandez both in the paint. Into Hernandez in the left corner. Takes a few dribbles. Returns to Beatty behind him, far left. Back deep to Soria at the time stripe. Dribbles right, bounce pass to Lowe. He'll come back to the timeline as well. Then hand off to Beatty behind him, though. Saved by Lowe. Back to Beatty. Top of the circle. Drives the lane. Flicks it over to Hernandez in the left corner. But Beatty runs into his defender as he let the ball go. A no-look pass to the left corner. They call the charge. Beatty's picked up, I believe, his 4th personal. And that will be the 3rd team foul on the Eagles here in the 4th. 4:34 remaining. Also a turnover, number 12. Inbound to Patterson. Lowe's going to pick him up in the backcourt with 4.5 remaining and a 2-point Eagle lead. Stop and go for Patterson now in the front court. Lowe slides with him on the near left sideline in front of the Mayfield bench. Bounce pass to Walsh, left block, spins in the paint. He throws his hands up in the air and gets another foul call. He just put the ball down and flung his hands up in the air. They call it on the Eagles. Boy, that referee is biting on a lot underneath, but they don't call it on Beatty. That would have been his 5th. When I say no, that's his 4th. They do call it on Beatty. They'll fling it back deep. Jump it in the air for Herrera. Up top of the circle, guarded by Soria. He drives down the left side of the paint. Dishes out to Patterson on the left wing. Backs it out to the time stripe. Going up against Lowe. Stop and go. Kickoff left wing to Herrera. Back up top to Williams. Williams will send it far right sideline to Covarrubias with 3:58 remaining. Up top to Walsh. Over to Patterson. Wide open left side. 3 on the way. Off the side of the rim. No good. And Lowe gets a rebound. And this time they're going to get Mayfield for slapping on Lowe's arm. So Lowe gets the board, his 3rd. Foul goes against Williams, his 3rd. And that will be the 3rd team foul against Mayfield here in the 4th. Clock stop with 3:52 remaining here in the finale. Hobbs by 2 as they get the inbound to Soria. He'll have plenty of real estate to work with. Defender at the time stripe. Waiting for him is Covarrubias. Bringing it across the timeline with the pass to Beatty on the left wing. Oh, he lost the ball in the air as he tried to pass, but he caught it himself. Throws it back to Soria to reset. Over the right wing to Hernandez. Takes a few dribbles to the timeline with the pivot to David at the right elbow. Fadeaway jumper off the front of the rim, no good. Another rebound for Lowe. Lowe's going to kick it back up top to Soria. Lowe now with 4 boards. To Beatty on the left wing. Fakes an NBA 3 and returns back deep to Soria. Tough pressure being applied by Covarrubias. Back to Beatty on the left side. Bounce pass, or dribble, I should say. Throws it down low to David. Ball gets loose in the paint, taken away. That'll be a turner for the Eagles. They're 13. Pass to half court is stolen by the Eagles. Soria, he comes into the front court. Pass to Beatty in the right corner. 15-footer and good. Beatty with 14 points, his first bucket of this fourth quarter. Mayfield has it now as Patterson in the front court. That was their 13th turnover prior to this play. Dish off to the left wing to Corona. Fadeaway three off the back of the rim. Pulled down by David on the right block. He's got 10 rebounds, a double-double, along with his 23 points. 2:39 remaining, slowing it up now with a 4-point lead is Soria as he brings it across the timeline against Covarrubias. Bounce pass far left to Lowe. Returns to Soria. The yo-yo passing game. Dribbles up the near right sideline, gets to his defender, top of the arc, running clock, over to Lowe on the left side, up top to David, swing at left corner to Hernandez, fires up a three out the back of the rim, no rebounders though, pulled down for Herrera, wide to himself, and they call the timeout. That long three was not a bad shot, but nobody underneath the rebound for the Eagles, the Mayfield Trojan waiting for it. 2:16 remaining, fourth quarter. Hobbs up by 4, 57-53 over Mayfield. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
Go.
Back here in Las Cruces, the Hobbs Eagles hold on to a 4-point lead here in the fourth, 57-53. Mayfield Trojans on their home court, 6-0 on the season. Hobbs at 7-1. This could be the first loss for the Trojans. Of course, the Eagles picked off an undefeated team last week, San Angelo Central, who was 12-0 at the time, now 12-1. Hobbs coming out of their timeout. 2:16 remaining here in the fourth. A 57-53 ball game. Mayfield basketball in their backcourt. Down by 4. Trojans have had 4 games against Albuquerque Skulls. They've also played Clovis and their arch rival Centennial here in Las Cruces. Here we go with 2:10 remaining in the front court as Patterson drives the left wing to the lane. Kick out left corner, 3 on the way for Corona. Off the front of the rim, no good. David get another rebound there. That is his 11th and gives it up the near sideline to Lowe. Back deep to Hernandez in the paint of the backcourt. There's a high one to Soria on the near right sideline. He'll bring it across. Bounce pass to Lowe in the right wing. Cross court to Beatty on the left side. He'll drive the lane. Big jump stop in the paint to Hernandez right elbow. Back to Soria on the left wing. Takes a few dribbles and spins out of the pressure. Returns to Beatty at the timeline. Crossover move is stripped from behind, and then the ball's taken by Walsh, and then a whistle. Ball was loose. I thought I heard a whistle as he lost the ball, so it might have been a reach on Mayfield first before he lost the ball to Walsh and ran right into him. Not seeing any signal from the official, though. I guess they call the foul on Corona, his second. That'll be the 14th foul against Mayfield. 4 fouls each now. Beatty inbound. Bounce it into Soria on the left wing. Pivots. Sizes up his defender. Herrera goes baseline against him, and Herrera throws a hip at him and a foul. That'll be a floor foul, but it will be a double bonus, the 5th foul here in the fourth quarter. So Herrera picks up his second. Eagles in the double bonus the rest of the ball game as Soria has 3 for 4 free throw shooting for 75% so far. Good numbers at this point. Trying to extend the lead from 4, hopefully to 6, which would be the biggest lead of the ball game. 5 was earlier. 2 free throws for Soria. Not as many points as last night. He had 21, but he's trying to add on this lead, which is the most important. He misses the free throw, though. So 4 points is the lead for the Eagles at this point. Soria with 21 points, 6 trays last night, was 1 for 1 from the line and 6 rebounds. He'll get 1 now. Second shot is up, and it's a swisher. 6 points for Soria and a 5-point Eagle lead, matching their biggest of the game at 5, 58-53. 1:32 remaining. Here comes Patterson in the front court off the dribble. Comes around the left circle, spins. Walsh has taken a tumble. I think Hernandez might have got him from behind as it shoved him head first towards the floor. So Hernandez is going to pick up the foul. That's his second. And that's the 5th now on the Eagles, so both teams will be in the double bonus the rest of the game. Walsh on the charity stripe. He is 7 of 9 has 17 points but has yet to score in this fourth quarter, but he does there on the first free throw. 18 for him now. Checking in for the Trojans is I.T. Williams. He comes in for Herrera, who did hit a tray earlier in this fourth quarter. 54 for the Trojans, 58 for your Eagles, up by 4. Pinning this second free throw is a swish for Walsh. He got them both 19 points. 58-55, a tray lead for the Eagles. Long pass to Soria on the near sideline. He's trying to wave his way through the pressure and lost the ball coming across the timeline. It's stolen by Covarubia. Another Eagle turnover. Pass down to the left corner, firing a three. It's Corona, misses out the back of the rim, no good. Beatty with the rebound, his fifth. He'll send it ahead into the front court, and Hernandez gets wrapped up by 2 or 3 defenders there at the half-court line, but I think Coach Ross had a timeout before the foul. I think he'd probably rather take the foul instead of the timeout and get the double bonus. Nope, they're going to give him the timeout instead. Unfortunate for the Eagles, the timing of that one. So they'll talk about it here. We'll keep it here as well. Looking at the scoring numbers so far for the Eagles, 23 points for Malachi David, and he's got 11 rebounds, a double-double. Doing some damage against the Trojans with his height and a couple of trays to his name as well. 14 points for Braddock Beatty. Big jumper in the lane just a few seconds ago. He also has 5 rebounds. So those are the 2 in double digits. Other scores for the Eagles, 6 for Lyric Soria, 6 for Josiah Clay. 3 apiece for Jalen Sanders and Adarius Proby, a bucket for Javen Hernandez, and a 1-for-2 free throw shooting night for Jadarius Lowe. So the Eagles currently with 8 scorers in this ball game. Leading scorer now for Mayfield is Walsh, who just hit those 2 free throws. He's got 19, 13 for Covarubia on 2 trays, and 10 for Corey Patterson, who's got a tray. Should go back to Walsh too. He has hit 2 3-pointers in the game as well, coming off the bench. 13 turnovers for Mayfield and 14 for the Eagles. Hobbs basketball. All the coaching staff is having a discussion with one of the officials. They're pointing, it looked like at the wall for some reason, maybe near the scoreboard. 1:06 left here in the fourth, and it is 58-55, Eagles by 3. Hobbs basketball right in front of their bench at the 28-foot line, right sideline. Inbounding to Soria. Gets double team pressure. He's trying to pivot away from it, and he gets hammered. Got doubled up by Williams and Walsh near that right baseline. They get the foul on Williams. That's his 4th, and that'll be a double bonus for the Eagles again. So he'll get 2 here. He went 1 for 2 in the last trip here seconds ago. He has 4 for 6 from the charity stripe tonight. 6 points for Soria, trying to make it 8, and it's 7 there with the first one. He's got 7. 59-55, back up by 4. A lot of tension in the house here. Mayfield will have their first loss of the season at the hands of the Eagles. Second shot for Soria, it's a swish. He's got 8 points. He's made his last 3 free throws. 60-55, 2-possession game. Eagles by 5. In the front court, Patterson right wing. Hands it off behind him to Corona. Corona's dribbling hard to the free throw line. Pivots. Kicks out right wing. 3 for Covarrubias out the back of the rim. Soria gets the rebound in transition now as he bounces it up ahead to Beatty. Now slowing it down. Soria's 4th rebound. Beatty dribbles to the timeline. Gives it to David on the right wing with 39 seconds. Double team on him and gets hit. Walsh takes a piece of his arm, and Walsh has picked up his 2nd. Back to a double bonus for the Eagles. Trying to put the icing on the cake here, although there's some deadly 3-point shooters for this Mayfield team. But it'll take more than 1 possession to do it. David on the line. He is 1 of 2 from the stripe, make it 2 of 3 as he nails a free throw. 24 points for Malachi David. Last night he had 12, so he's doubled up his numbers so far, maybe a little bit more now with another free throw. 1 more shot for Malachi David. Bouncing around the rim 100 times, it comes off. Pulled down now with the dribble into the front court is Corona. He's got a fire up a 3, top of the arc, of the back of the rim, no good. And a rebound by Lowe, his 5th. Gives it back deep to Beatty at the timeline, who gets hit hard, and he'll get some free throws at the other end. Foul on Mayfield's Walsh, his 3rd. Clock stop at 27.6 remaining in the fourth. Hobbs up by 6. Eagles were 3rd in the Max Preps Bowl heading into the weekend, or at least Thursday, I should say. They're still there. 10th for the Mayfield Trojans. Or correction, not 10th. I think they're 5th, actually. Yeah, Mayfield at 5th. They're 6-0. So it's La Cueva, Las Cruces, Hobbs, Rio Rancho at 4th, and Mayfield at 5th. And a timeout on the court. We'll take a quick break as well. Hobbs up by 6, 61-55, pinning 2 more free throws from Braddock Beatty. Stay with us. We're back in 30. Eagles working on their 8th win of the season, currently at 7-1. Mayfield at 6-0. Their first loss could be coming here on their home court. Hobbs up by the 61-55 score. Braddock Beatty will be the man on the line for 2. Yet to shoot a free throw, has 14 points in the game, though. He is the second leading scorer behind the 24 of Malachi David. 19 leader is Homer Walsh for Mayfield. 13 for Covarrubias. First shot for Beatty is a swish. 15 now for Beatty. Last night, of course, he had 16 points and 3 trays in the game. Was 0 for 2 for the line, so doing better tonight here at the charity stripe in his only 2 chances. Misses off the back of the rim on the second, though. The rebound now in transition to get across the timeline is Corona. He's going to give it to Walsh. Comes down the lane with a scoop on the left side and scores on the layup for Walsh. He's got 21, leading the Trojans. And a quick timeout for Coach Trujillo. One final hurrah for them. They're going to have to play some full court pressure D with 20 seconds remaining. Again, this is the last game before the Christmas break. Hobbs Holiday Tournament coming up on the 29th, 30th, and the 31st. On the other side of the bracket, the Artesia Bulldogs, who won the state championship last year. So that's kind of a tasty look. Some New Mexico and Texas teams on the docket there. Hobbs Lady Eagles back in action as well, the defending tournament champs. We'll have all the action for you. HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube. A bunch of our Facebook pages will be in work too, depending on what team is playing that game. Hobbs girls will start it off around 6 o'clock. The boys after that on the nightcap. So we'll have some earlier games on the final day of the tournament, the 31st, due to it being a New Year's Eve situation. So they won't be starting those late night 8 o'clock games. Eagles have to beat this full court pressure. They inbound near side to David. Double team back to low in the paint, but they call the foul as David unloads the pass. 2 guys swarming on top of him that time, Corona and Walsh. See which one gets the foul. Looks like it will be Corona. So we go to the other end for Malachi David. Trying to put this thing in the books. 2 for 4 from the line, 50% for David. Has 24 points and make it 25 with the free throw. One more coming for him. Substitution for the Trojans. Back on the court is Herrera. As he checks in for Williams. I think they need another 3-point shooter out there. Herrera has had one here in the 4th, but just one. One more shot coming for David. 6-point lead and misses off the front of the rim. Pulled down in transition once again. Coming across the timeline is Corona. He's going to come down the lane. A little scoop on the right. David comes up with the rebound. That should about do it here with 9 seconds. Gives it Beatty the baseline. To Sawyer on the near side. Sends it ahead to Hernandez. Front court in front of the Hobbs bench. Back door to Beatty. Nobody back there to play D. He's going to fake the shot. The Mayfield Trojans at the other end of the court didn't even come down to play D. That's a wrap. Hobbs Eagles beat undefeated Mayfield 63-57. As the Eagles run to 8-1, and the Mayfield Trojans drop to 6-1. We'll take a 3-minute break and come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Another W in the books for your Hobbs Eagles. Victory over Mayfield tonight. Final score of this one as the Eagles run to 8-1 on the season. Where's my scoreboard here? 63-57, a 6-point win for Hobbs. Eagles, in terms of the halftime, were up 31-30. They got 20 points in the third, and also finished up with 12 in the fourth. 20 points for Mayfield in the third quarter, and they ended up only getting 7 in the fourth. So Hobbs' domination in this ballgame, especially in the low post. Malachi David is the top scorer in the game. We'll get to his numbers in just a minute. First, let's talk about the Mayfield Trojans. They have some guys that can shoot trays, that's for sure. 9 3-pointers in this ball game and still end up losing it by 6. Kind of what we saw last night, too. Oregon Mountain could shoot the trays, but they had a 1-point loss as well. Leading scorer, though, was Homer Walsh. He finished up with 21 points, 9 of 11 on the free throw stripe. Also had 2 trays to his name and 7 rebounds. You kind of think this kid might make himself a starter, but he's doing a good job as a 6th man coming off the bench for Mayfield. So he's one of their double-digit scorers. Another is Christian Covarrubia, finished with 13 points. Perfect on the line, 3 for 3, had a couple of trays and 2 rebounds. With 11 points, Fernando Corona. He finished 2 for 2 from the line. He hit a total of 3 3-pointers for his squad and had 7 rebounds. So doing a lot of stat numbers there for the Trojans. Last but not least, their 4th double-digit scorer, Corey Patterson, with 10 points, 3 for 4 from the charity stripe, and had 1 rebound and 1 3-point shot. So a team that has 4 double-digit scores you'd think would get the victory, but in this case, the Hobbs Eagles pulled this one out. And that was, in fact, I believe all the scoring for the game were those. Oh, actually, one of their guys scored. That was Gabriel Herrera, finished up with 1 tray. So they had 5 guys in the books in terms of point production for the Mayfield Trojans. Hobbs out-rebounded them by 9, 30-21. They had a couple of guys getting some good boards, though, including Corona with 7 and also Walsh with 7 for the Trojans. They had a total of 13 turnovers, just 1 short of the Hobbs Eagles, who had 14. And they were 17 of 20 from the charity stripe in this ball game. And once again, great 3-point shooting for this squad with 9. Looking at your Hobbs Eagles, big numbers coming from Malachi David, posting a big all night long in the paint. 25 points he had, along with the 12 rebounds. So a double-double for Malachi David. Also went 3 of 6 from the charity stripe. Big game for him in a winning cause for the Eagles. Second in numbers was Braddock Beatty with 15 points. He only had 2 free throws in the fourth quarter, 1 of 2, and 5 rebounds to his name as well. So definitely a big scoring opportunity for him in this one. So Malachi David and Beatty combining for 40 of the Hobbs Eagles, 63 points in the contest. Getting close to double digits, Lyric Soria finished with 8. He was 6 of 8 from the charity stripe. Did not get a tray in this ball game, surprisingly, but had 4 rebounds to his name as well. 6 points for Josiah Clay on 3 buckets with 1 rebound. It was Jalen Sanders hitting a tray in the second quarter for 3 points, also a rebound. Darius Proby had 3 points, 1 of 2 from the charity stripe and a rebound. 2 points for Javen Hernandez on a bucket and a board. And Jadarius Lowe went 1 of 2 from the line for 1 point and 5 rebounds, doing a great job of cleaning up glass for the Hobbs Eagles. So I think that's about it for the scoring for Hobbs in this one. They had 8 people in the books tonight for the Eagles, 12 of 20 from the charity stripe for 60%. And they did manage to get 3 3-pointers in the ball game, much less than what the Mayfield Trojans did with 9, but who cares? You still get the 6-point win. Hobbs with 14 turnovers in the ball game. Leading rebounder, of course, Malachi David with his double-double. He had those 12 boards, but also helping out the cause, Braddock Beatty with 5 and Jadarius Lowe with 5 as well. So that puts the numbers in the books for the Hobbs Eagles, who get the 63-57 win as they knock off the undefeated Mayfield Trojans, who dropped to 6-1. Hobbs improves to 8-1. Well, that's it for basketball for a little bit of time. Of course, the Hobbs All-Day Tournament will be coming up on May 29th. Let's try December 29th before we get into the new year. Looking at the boys division, the Hobbs Eagles will have their first game, and that will be the 8 o'clock game on the Monday the 29th. They'll take on El Paso Parkland. Also on their side of the bracket, Mayfield will be there, the team they just played tonight. They'll take on Holy Cross, an earlier game at 1:15 on Monday the 29th. On the other side of the bracket, Artesia takes on Farmington at 9:45 a.m., the early game at Tasker Arena. And Also, one other game going on in the brackets on the other side will be Albuquerque High, as they will take on the team out of Texas, Legacy Academy. So that should be a good one for that. Wichita Falls is where they're from, by the way. So those are the teams: Hobbs, El Paso, Parkland, Mayfield, Holy Cross, Artesia, Farmington, also the Legacy squad, Wichita Falls, and Albuquerque High. Again, Hobbs will play Monday night at 8 p.m. Other game times you can check out: 9:45, 1:15, and 4:45 for the boys division at Task Arena. On the girls' side, the Hobbs Lady Eagles will have the 6:15 game on Monday, December 29th. They'll take on the Alamogordo Tigers. On their same side of the bracket, El Paso Eastwood taking on Piedra Vista. That'll be a 3 o'clock game at the freshman school. On the other side of the bracket for the girls, El Paso Americas has Farmington as their opponent at 11:30 at Tasker. And the Mayfield Trojans, this girls team right here from the high school we're at tonight, they will take on Albuquerque High at 3 o'clock at Task Arena. Of course, Coach Maya, one of the winningest coaches in the state of New Mexico, he would love to have a shot to play Hobbs Lady Eagles in that championship game. So once again, it's the Hobbs Lady Eagles, Alamogordo, El Paso Eastwood, Piedra Vista out of Albuquerque, or actually Farmington, El Paso Americas, Farmington High School, Mayfield, and Albuquerque High. Game times again, Monday, December 29th, will be at 11:30, 3 o'clock. There are 2 games, one at Tasker, one at the freshman school, and then, of course, the Hobbs Lady Eagles at 6:15. Well, that's a wrap here from Las Cruces as your Hobbs Eagles win 63-57 over the Mayfield Trojans. We will be back on the air again on that Monday with the boys and girls, 6:15 for the girls, and the boys right after that around 8 o'clock. We'll have that both on the Eagle and, of course, on Cool 95.7 on the radio, and, of course, all the time on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and our Facebook pages throughout the No Mark Broadcasting family. I'd like to thank Ron Gunner keeping us up with the scoreboard and get me that bracket for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament right before I went back on the postgame show. Evie Stuber back at the station. I'm Ty Friend. Have a very Merry Christmas next week, and go Hobbs Eagles at the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Adios.